crowd is crunched, and we are getting ready for the $100,000 Nestea Open. Evening 11-8 on time and a thriller.
That was really a well-played match. Johnson and Stoklos, of course, serve the ball better. They'll probably serve better, have much more impact on the match from the service line than do Dodd and Whitmarsh. But Mike Dodd playing defense, Whitmarsh blocking, just like we saw so many times last year.
First member of the Millionaire Club, Randy Stoklos. He is now 34 years old, 6'4", 215. He's been working with a personal trainer in the offseason, and he is in tremendous shape. I think you'll notice a difference in Randy's game this year. Here we go. And Mike Dodd puts it away. Let's ID the players for you. There's Mike Dodd, black hat, upturned, white shirt. Dodd is 37 years old. 6'4", 190. I don't think he's going to get to 200 until he retires, however. Always been kind of a skinny body, but able to move. As Dodd and Whitmarsh, no point, ball out of bounds. This is 1 game to 15. Winner goes on to play Karch and Kent Steffes. Now, what about Adam Johnson, the new king of the beach, 6'3", 190. He's 30, 13 career wins. He's already had a couple, of course, in the Avion Indoor Series. Johnson with the serve, no score. Whitmarsh, and it's off AJ out of bounds.
AJ trying to make the dig on the run, can't quite control it. You know, as you read through this group of players, you see 30, 34. Mike Whitmarsh adds to that, 6'7", age 32. I mean, this is just a golden age of players that have come up through the ranks. Karch now in his mid-30s, and you know, you wonder when the young guys, and maybe we're starting to see that with the Hannemans and the Canyon Siemens and the Rob Hydgers, when they're going to move up and really have an impact in the upper echelon. Of course, the best young team on the beach is the Brazilians, Anginho and Loyola, both in their early 20s still.
We should tell you that the Brazilians finished in 4th place. We'll give you more of those finishers a little later. Here's Dodd, and Dodd right to Stokey, and Stokey shanks it under the net. We told you he was in fine physical condition. However, that bump pass got a little out of whack.
Thought Adam Johnson, his partners, should have certainly made a play on it, but you got to keep the ball off the net. AJ made the decision it was going to go hard into the tape, or softly in that situation, and bounce off, and just misplayed it.
Perfect pass, perfect set, and
perfect block.
A rejection by Big Whitmarsh. So it's 1-0. Dodd and Whitmarsh.
Scores 1 serving 0.
Still the scariest blocker on the beach. Mike Whitmarsh told me a great story. He was at a hockey game in New York when they were back there for the Avion Indoor. He and Tim Hovland were standing next to the ice. We'll finish that after this rally.
Off him out of bounds.
And Mike Whitmarsh looks out of the corner of his eye, and they're watching the hockey game. The Rangers playing a puck, flying up, hits him right in the shoulder, bounces off his shoulder, puts a huge gash in his shoulder, bounces up, hits Tim Hovland in the face. Hovland took 3 stitches, and this was right before the Avion Indoor Tournament.
That's what happened to Hovland's face. His wife's been asking me about that. 1-0, Dodd and Whitmarsh.
Witt's still got, he's got a nice little ding right in the top of his shoulder, and he's been rehabbing it ever since. He said sore for weeks after that.
Whitmarsh. Side out to Whitmarsh and Dodd.
But reaching high on this one, tap and line. Mike Whitmarsh primarily wants to hit the ball cross court. Randy Stoklos respecting that.
Nice up by Dodd. Jump set, nobody home, and Whitmarsh got it. Remember, he's 6'7" and can jump.
Snuck back into the neighborhood in a hurry, but late getting off the net that time. Great blocking sequence by Mike Whitmarsh. Shows you why he causes everybody so much trouble.
So Randy Stoklos will have the ball. Stoklos lives in Pacific Palisades. Mary just had a little baby girl, Shay Stoklos. Ace for Stokey, and we're tied at 1.
Jump serve ace by Randy Stoklos.
Stokey loves to go hard cross court on the jump serve. Doesn't give it away in the toss. See, right until the last second, until his hand contacted the ball, you can't tell where he's going with the serve. Prefers to go cross court. All of the opposition knows it, but really disguising that well until he slices it off into the cross court. However, he misses the second serve.
So Mike Dodd, who will be 38 in August. The lollipop serve. We're tied at 1. Semifinal action. Johnson and Dodd with a dig. This is his specialty. Transition. And AJ and Stokey go down and get it. Johnson, poke it back over. Dodd, third chance, yes.
Whitmarsh making Dodd work for it. Mike covering the court still, but reads probably better than anybody on the beach in the right spot. But Whit setting Mike pretty low. Stokey hustling to keep the ball in play. Now watch this low set. That was a pretty good set. Mike still couldn't put that one away. Witt's got to get better at setting the ball. I know it's very early in the season, but you want to get into a good rhythm, siding out, scoring points right off the bat.
And the cut shot inside. 2-1 is our score. Dodd and Whitmarsh lead it.
Side by Adam Johnson. Good for a
If you're wondering about the beach, it is a very nice beach. A good beach, a good jumper's beach. All the players are skying and everybody seems to be pounding off this surface.
Sand is coarse. You don't sink quite so far into the sand. AJ had a great year last season. Over $210,000. Of course, beat Karch Kirai in the finals of the King of the Beach. First player other than Karch to win that individual title.
1 serving 2. AJ whacks it out of bounds. So now, at least for this year, Johnson is the new king of the beach. Kirai and Stefas are just mere mortals, albeit rich mortals. But mortals nonetheless.
I used to say, all I want to do is be king of the bank.
Yeah, not king of the beach. Johnson right to Dodd. Dodd has nobody up, and he puts it away.
I'll tell you, I don't know what calls Randy Stoklos has given AJ, but he's hit 2 or 3 balls early in this match right to Mike Dodd. Stoklos, of course, after he sets the ball, has got to look at the defense, look at Mike Dodd. Saw the end of the play in transition. Dodd sneaking it by. Listen to Stoklos on the call. No call there.
Nope. Listen to Greg Krause blow his whistle, and Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh have an early lead here at Singer Island, Florida. Dodd and Whitmarsh leading Stoklos and Johnson. Will come back. It's 4-1. Marlowe and Paul Sunderland semifinal action. Dodd and Whitmarsh leading 4-1 over Stoklos and Johnson. Mike Dodd, we mentioned, 37 years old, going on 38, an illustrious career.
63 open wins, of course, past the legendary Ron Von Hagen last year. Took a little time off during the winter to go earn $1 million or so playing in the Italian Professional League. He was a phenomenal indoor player. A lot of people really not aware of that. Collegiate All-American at San Diego State, and would have made the national team, but decided to put his lot outdoors. He was just a great indoor player.
Going on 2 is Randy Stoklos, and so now Stoklos will serve it up. Stoklos, white headband fila, red tank top, bulging muscles. Been one of the sports stars since the professional inception back in the late 70s. Stoklos on defense. Oh, and AJ shovels it over.
Boy, looky what I found. The good hustle by Randy Stoklos. And I think you're seeing the benefits of that off-season training. You know, Stoklos getting a little bit older, and he's taken a lot of pounding on his body. When he played with St. John Smith, of course, he blocked all the time. He's been jumping. And now you do that off-season quickness training. You get stronger. You get more powerful. Playing good defense, and it shows.
2 serving 4. Here comes Dodd. And Stokey is there, playing some defense. And he puts it away. So that's something that is a big change from last year. Adam Johnson and Randy Stoklos are going to alternate blocking and playing defense.
Well, I just think that's the formula that Karch Kirai and Kent Stefas have proven over the last several years, that that's exactly the way to do it. At the end of a tournament, unlike the way Dodd and Whitmarsh do, Mike Whitmarsh becomes, I think, a bit of a target to get served in the latter stages of a tournament because he's been working so hard jumping every time.
Dodd rejected by Johnson.
And AJ is not a bad blocker. We just haven't seen him block for the last couple of years. Of course, AJ, a couple of times an NC2A Player of the Year at USC, played on the national team for a while. He also played indoors. And I'm talking about the indoor game because blocking is so important in the indoor game. AJ has good technique blocking. He knows how to block. And now with Stokey wanting to split the duties, we're going to see, of course, AJ block a lot more balls and get involved in that part of the game.
So Adam Johnson, the king of the beach, just stuffed one. Interestingly, it was Johnson who stuffed his way against Karch Kirai in a number of the indoor events. A lot of people were very surprised when Johnson was the man who actually blocked Karch off the court in one of the indoor events. I believe it was Washington, D.C. Stoklos, another dig right to Johnson, and he netted. He touched the net. You can't do that. Score remains 4-4.
Boy, a great play up until the last micro net. Maybe not such a micro net. AJ about ripped it down here, but this ball's right on top. And AJ, you saw he caught his finger on the strand about halfway down. Tight set like that, players will try to just hit the back of the ball as quickly as they can.
4-4. Johnson. Dodd left hands it. Whitmarsh right hands it, and Dodd scoops it over.
Whit lost his glasses in the melee. Look at
Stoklos, a horrible throw.
Look at what hustle does for you. First Dodd, then Whitmarsh, keeping the ball in play. Make your opposition touch the ball once, twice, 3 times again, and stay in the point. Mike Dodd stretched out back up early, and then Whitmarsh really working to get the ball back in play, putting pressure on Stoklos and Johnson.
Talking about the 2 indoor events, Stoklos and Johnson, 1 in New York and 1 in Boston. Here's Stoklos, he's mad, and he hits it over and out. Point, Whitmarsh and Dodd. So Johnson and Stoklos down 4-1, tied it up at 4-4, and then a couple of errors. We'll take a quick break. It's 6-4, the Mikes, when we come back. The Open here in Singer Island, Florida. Chris Marlowe and Paul Sunderland. Dodd and Whitmarsh leading by 2. As we mentioned, $4.5 million in total prize money this year. And interestingly, the least amount of money offered in an outdoor tournament this year, $100,000.
Yeah, I remember, and it wasn't so long ago that a $100,000 tournament was the biggest all season long. Certainly that has changed. Things are getting bigger and bigger every season.
Bigger and bigger. Unbelievably big. $4 million last year. So it's up $500,000 this year. Stoklos and Johnson giving up 2 straight points.
You know, in the bonus pool this year, the $1 million Miller Lite bonus Grand Prix Cup pays out $1 million, pays down to 64th position.
Right.
Every year they pay farther down. We still never get any of it.
All right, here we go. And Johnson puts it away. So Adam Johnson gets the kill. Johnson is 30 years old. Lives down in San Juan Capistrano, California. Very fine all-around athlete growing up. Played soccer, tennis, and baseball. And he will serve. And he serves an ace. Now, interestingly, this year, one of the sponsors on tour, Powerade, has instituted something called the Power Ace Challenge. The top 10 servers at the end of the year will split up $80,000. The best server on tour, as if he needs it, gets $20,000 more. So Adam Johnson, I would figure, would have a great chance for that 20 grand.
Well, particularly if they started out including the Avion indoor events, because they're playing, of course, on a synthetic beach, if you will, and Minneapolis, Washington, D.C., Boston, the Boston Garden. That would have been great. And, of course, Madison Square Garden. I heard AJ on that hard-packed indoor stuff were just bombing aces. Certainly helped them win 2 of those 4 titles.
6-5. Dodd and Whitmarsh leading by 1. Stoklos and Stoklos on 2. You don't have to hit it 3 times, and Stoklos did not.
Flex off the block of Whitmarsh and down for a side out.
Stokey back to both Adam Johnson and Randy Stoklos serving from the left side of the court. They're serving towards the ocean where the wind is coming. Want to pick up as much of that breeze as they can. Create good side, bad side as they can when the wind's coming off the water.
Which is the good side, which is the bad side?
Well, it's marginal. You'll see, more importantly, you'll see players choose a corner to serve from. You're seeing Mike Dodd, who's a right side player, but if the wind were coming to his face more from the left, he would move. Players more picking quadrants to serve from as opposed to a good side or bad side.
Give it over to Stoklos, and he is blocked, but it's out of bounds. And Stokey flexes to the crowd. Is Stoklos more relaxed than you've ever seen him?
Well, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I want to watch Randy. I think he's certainly, you know, glad to be back out on the beach. He's a father. I mean, it changes your view of the world. I haven't spoken with him that much about it, but I know when I asked him how his little baby was, he had a big smile on his face. He's awfully glad about it. You know, it always changes your life. And, you know, Randy's worked hard, I think. I think he's coming into this year with a lot more confidence. Trained hard, hired a personal trainer, as you mentioned, and it's shown already, for me anyway, so far in this tournament.
Dodd and Whitmarsh lead by 1. 6-5. Stoklos. Ooh, and Stoklos sizzles cross court.
You know, and I hope Randy doesn't mellow out. I don't want him to get, you know, too calm out here. He's always very fiery, very controversial, very entertaining, and I enjoy it.
122 all-time wins. Second on the career list to St. John Smith. St. John Smith officially credited with 135 wins. Of course, today, a day of importance. We'll talk more about that a little later as Karch Karai goes for his 100th win. See Karch and Kent a little later in our final. And Johnson rolls it into the corner. Adam Johnson, of course, with Stoklos, plays on the right side. And I was watching him a lot in the last couple of days. His cut shot, his trouble shots are much, much better. He's really adjusted to the right side.
It just takes a while. You know, the ball comes at you. It comes across your body when you're playing on the right side. Left side, it's what's called on hand. And the shots to get you out of trouble, to score with a set that's not perfect, that's what takes a while to develop.
And Whitmarsh able to shove that right through Stoklos. I haven't seen Adam Johnson serve a float serve in about a year. That was very surprising.
Your vehicle needs to be moved or the police will tow it. Have a nice day.
6 serving 5. Little vehicular congestion out on the strand. Serving Stoklos. Whitmarsh is there. Set Stoklos. And Dodd can't get there.
Here, AJ give Randy Stoklos the overcall, but Stokey just powers the ball. Figure he's got enough heat to get it past Mike Whitmarsh and off the defense of Mike Dodd. But always, and especially early in the season, communication vitally important. And how many touches? That's the key for Mike Dodd. How many balls does he touch in the backcourt as Mike Whitmarsh barely gets a hand on that one?
There is an ace, a power ace for Randy Stoklos. So Stoklos and Johnson tie it up at 6. .15 remaining in our semifinal.
Does not catch the bottom of the tape.
That is considered an ace.
Yeah, only one contact. The rules say that if there's no second contact with the ball, it goes into the books as an ace. And Stokey, I tell you, guys are going to start lobbying big time for aces with that much money put up by Powerade.
And a 20-second timeout taken by Dodd and Whitmarsh.
Taken by the team of Dodd
We'll take a short
and
break.
Whitmarsh.
We're coming back. Singer Island, the ST Open will continue after this. Mike Dodd, Mike Whitmarsh. Sounds like a monster movie, doesn't it? AVP men's volleyball on Prime. First event of the year in Singer Island, Florida. Karchkarai and Kent Steffes have won the winner's bracket. They'll be in the final a little bit later. And these two teams trying to advance to see who will play Karai and Steffes. And if you're wondering about single elimination, double elimination, well, it's double elimination. The same format we've used most of the last of a couple of years. Whitmarsh over to Stoklos. Johnson and Stoklos coming on now.
Good read by Whit.
And down the line goes the big Whit. 7-6, Johnson and Stoklos, and with that point, it is now 7-7.
Both Dodd and Whitmarsh back playing defense. Here's the end of the play. Whitmarsh poking over the top. Stoklos again with his quickness, almost getting there, but good read by Whit against the cut shot earlier in the play against Randy Stoklos.
Dodd and Whitmarsh led early 4-1. Johnson and Stoklos tied it at 4. Stoklos threw a ball, which made it 5-4. Then Stoklos hit one out 6-4. Couple of aces. Stokey and Johnson came back 6-6, and now we're tied at 7. Of course, Adam Johnson is 15th win just recently to the season indoor. Yes, those are counting. 94 King of the Beach, which officially does not count as a tournament win, but certainly in your wallet it does. And prestige. I think that's going to give AJ a lot of confidence this year.
Absolutely, especially when you beat Karch in the finals.
Absolutely.
They were head-to-head. Whoever won that particular match, a very complex format in King of the Beach, won't get into it now, but it came down to head-to-head. Whoever won that one game was King of the Beach, and Adam Johnson won it. And probably played his best volleyball of the summer.
Here comes Dodd.
Got a break off the top of the tape.
And the point.
Dodd from the right side. Point to Dodd and
That ball hit the top of the tape and hung up there nicely for Whitmarsh.
Dodd and Whit.
Take a short break. Dodd and Whitmarsh hustling up a point, and they lead it 8-7.
The finals are an ST Open here at Riviera Beach's Singer Island.
Singer Island, Florida, the Nestea Open. Semifinal action. Mike Dodd, Mike Whitmarsh have a 1-point lead over Adam Johnson and Randy Stoklos. Chris Marlowe, Paul Sunderland, glad to be with you back on the beach.
Ooh. Boy, excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt, Chris.
Don't do that again.
I won't, I promise. Yeah. Not until the next 5 minutes or anything. So Dodd got no break on that ball whatsoever. Just stuck in the cement that time. You may continue now.
Adam Johnson will serve. Thank you, Paul. You know, it's been a while since we've worked together.
Well, a little while.
What a great while that was.
Well, we did some basketball together this year.
That's right. I forgot. Here's Dodd. And Dodd tips it down the line. Dodd and Whitmarsh led early by 3, and then Johnson and Stoklos. Dodd and Whitmarsh kind of have to manufacture their points. They got to dig them up and block them down. Stoklos and Johnson.
Well, they're scoring theirs from the service line.
Absolutely.
Just as we discussed, they have 4 aces for Johnson and Stoklos. That's how they manufacture. They're on the fast track.
So Randy Stoklos to serve it up. Stoklos 3 wins last year: San Francisco, Manhattan Beach, and Belmar, New Jersey. Stoklos with a dig. And he puts it away. So Stoklos' defense obviously improved.
Well, you don't see Randy Stoklos dig a lot of balls because he was always blocking when he was playing with Smith. And up until the latter stages of last year, he really wasn't digging either. But the challenge will be, and I think he's already passed the test, is how well he can transition from the right side.
I saw 402.
They're talking about the clock, which reads 3:59.4 at the moment. And Greg Krause is saying, I thought I saw something a little bit differently. And so they switch it back to 4:09.
No, I saw it running.
Putting some time back on the clock. Good catch by Greg Krause. Clock starts when the ball is contacted by the server and stops when the ball hits the sand.
And there have been some instances where that clock just keeps running right through the timeout. Whitmarsh down the line. 8-8 is our score, playing a game to 15 or the expiration of the clock.
Mike Whitmarsh into the open court. Spiked by Woody, good for a side out.
And Mike Dodd will serve it.
And Dodd and Whitmarsh have stemmed the tide, at least for now, in terms of getting aced. Giving up 4 points early, half of Stoklos and Johnson's total coming straight from aces.
Dodd serving Johnson. And right to Dodd, and Whitmarsh puts it away.
I don't know if AJ's just not hearing the call because Dodd is committed to the cross court. He's not faking around, much like Karch Kirai does in the backcourt, or St. John Smith used to. AJ's just hitting the ball right to him.
9-8 now as Dodd serves up another lollipop.
Ooh.
Spike from the right
You heard
side by
Stoklos'
Adam
call
Johnson.
line.
The net by Mike Whitmarsh.
Whitmarsh with another stuff block, his
Stuff block
third.
by Whitty, good for
Okay,
a
of course,
point.
the choice
Dodd
now,
and
once
Whit.
Stoklos
10-3.
calls line, is to loopy it over the top of Mike Whitmarsh or try to hammer it by. The hammer was not the right choice that time.
Little tap, Whitmarsh goes and gets it. Ooh. And Dodd hit it out.
Spike from the right side
Big
by
miss
Mike
by
Dodd
Mike
is
Dodd,
wide.
but I'll tell you, defensively,
Side out
remember,
Johnson
only
and
2 guys out
Stoklos.
there. Whitmarsh is touching everything at the net, and if he doesn't, Mike
AJ
Dodd
back
is
to
getting
serve.
everything in the backcourt. Whitmarsh, 2 consecutive plays. You can do that, of course, as a blocker. Block counts as a contact. You can play it consecutively. Dodd should have scored with that shot.
Off Stoklos, Johnson goes and gets it. And Stokey drops it in. Boy, Dodd is getting stuck in the sand a
Big
lot.
shot by
He is
Randy
not able to
Stoklos.
go, and it's suddenly
Opposite
10
by
to 9.
Johnson, good
Boy,
for a
great,
point.
delicate shot by Randy Stoklos. The
Stoklos
block
and
starts it.
Johnson.
AJ's got to
continues
try to
to
take
serve,
some spin
scores
off this
9.
ball, get it as near to the net as he
10.
can. And, you know, Mike Dodd didn't break on that ball ever. Just really let it drop. If he broke, Stokey might have gone over his head.
Here comes Johnson, try to tie it up at 10, nobody up, and he puts it away.
Big bang
Wasn't an ace,
outside
but
by
they're
Adam
creating
Johnson.
points from serving, as they always do.
Stokey and Johnson on a roll will take the turn, 10-10 in southern Florida. In Singer Island, Florida, 10-10 our score with 3:29 to go. Semifinal action. Time now for player digs. A little earlier, we asked the players what they did in their off-season. Get ready for player digs.
I worked.
Work your butt off, huh?
Worked. I mean, this is not exactly coal mine digging duty for these guys in the off-season.
All right, Chris Marlowe, Paul Sunderland with you. 10-10. Good semifinal. The second and third ranked teams on the beach. Dodd and Whitmarsh, number 2. Stoklos and Johnson, number 3. Dodd and Whitmarsh had an early advantage. Stoklos and Johnson caught up. Dodd and Whitmarsh went ahead. Stoklos and Johnson caught up. And it's 10-10. Good action, good rallying so far.
And teams playing to their strengths. Stoklos and Johnson scoring with either aces, service winners, or rebounds. We'll define that one for you. And since it's the new season, you get used to the rebound serve when we see one. And Dodd and Whitmarsh just siding out as consistently as they can, and then touching the ball at the net with Whit, or digging balls and hopefully transitioning from Dodd.
Randy Stoklos made $163,286 last year.
A terrible year for him.
Considered it an off year. I was going to say that. Nice shot by Mike Dodd.
That was an off year. Given the amount of money that's available on the beach right now, for Randy to take home only $160,000 was indeed a down year.
And for Mike Dodd, $204,253. Pretty good numbers for Mike Dodd at age 37. Oh, that ball smacked out of bounds, 11-10. Stoklos and Johnson make a lot of funny errors.
Well, I don't have an explanation, you know.
Unexplainable errors, even by you.
Unexplainable, and that was a perfect set and just lack of concentration. But what really changes it, I think, is the presence of Mike Whitmarsh.
Okay.
I mean, as a hitter, he changes everything mentally. He is so scary, and that's exactly why right there, although that one snuck down inside him. Whit is just scary to hit against.
Johnson just getting one through the block.
See, Mike Whitmarsh was waving his hands around just a little bit, trying to catch the high lob over the top of him. Couldn't press over the net at the same time, and the ball snuck inside.
10 serving 11. Working on Whitmarsh. He likes the low bump set, and he gets it.
Spike off the block of Randy Stoklos from the left side by Mike Whitmarsh.
So Mike Whitmarsh, who made also $202,253 last year, the former basketball player from the University of San Diego, watching the NCAA basketball tournament very, very closely. Avid basketball fan, maybe the biggest on the AVP tour. And Dodd has the dig. Whitmarsh spinning up there. Beauty!
Great set in transition. See Whitmarsh moving from his blocking position at the net and then spinning the ball. The angle of his arms changing. See, spinning, lifting the right arm, spinning it up towards the net. And Mike Dodd going down the line.
A lead of 2 for Dodd and Whitmarsh. Down the line, Dodd! Over to Whit. Here comes Stokey. MD is up. MD, put it away.
Phenomenal hustle play again. Earning points. Mike Dodd stretched out. It's very much the same as earlier in the match when Stoklos was called for a throw. Dodd and Whitmarsh working so hard on the defensive end. Dodd chasing, Whit following with him.
Second three-point lead for Dodd and Whitmarsh. They lead at 13-10. Could be 14-10. Whip it over to Dodd. I don't know what Dodd's doing. Should have whacked that one. Give it back to AJ. What was Dodd doing?
I don't know. And very little communication after the play. I thought Whit tracked that down and set it effectively enough for Mike Dodd to take it away.
Back to serve, 2:23 on the
You couldn't have hit it, but Dodd should have. About 7 feet on.
So good to see you again.
Prime Nectar. 20-second timeout taken by Dodd and Whitmarsh. 13-10. You look at Whitmarsh, 5 wins, 3 last season, the 90 Rookie of the Year.
You would like to thank
and big prize money. It's a kid that is really improving. 32 years old now, got a late start because of basketball.
I remember those first several years had such a problem with dehydration and cramping and whatnot. Many times forced to take an IV treatment or even leave the beach in the back of an ambulance. But we haven't seen much of that in the last couple of years. And you see that with him winning over $200,000 and keeping Mike Dodd as a partner. And Dodd stuck with Whitmarsh through many of those troubles. And that sort of loyalty in both directions has helped them become a very successful team.
Mike Dodd has had really 2 longtime partners. Of course, the great one, Tim Hovland, and now Mike Whitmarsh. And they're both similar. Big, tall basketball players that can't set a lick. As Stoklos punches it through, I asked Dodd, I was kidding around, who sets you worse, Whitmarsh or Hovland?
What did he
because
say?
They both kind of shovel them low.
Yeah, what did he say?
Well, there's a theory going around that Dodd hits a bad set better than a good set. Karch once told me that. He said, you know, Dodd, if you set him a perfect ball, he can't hit.
Right.
If you set him a low bump or a back sideways set, he cranks it. He wouldn't make the commitment. I don't think he could bring himself to ever say anybody sets it worse than Hovland. 13-10. And Stoklos bumps it out of bounds. Trying to chicken it over. and gain the advantage with 2:07 to go here in our semifinal. Score remains 13-10.
Boy, look at that. So close. Stokey bumping the ball over here. That catches, oh boy, out by a couple of inches.
Yep.
That's a big play. Just about 2 minutes to go in the match right now, or to 15.
Stoklos and Johnson really need to get their quick game going, the quick attack. That has racked up 4 aces.
Watch for Stokey going to cross-court ace. Into the wind. Wind again coming off the Atlantic Ocean. Stokey's going to probably try to cut it off against Whit.
Working on Whit, ace.
That one wasn't that tough in terms of location.
Now the wind is really blowing it downwards. You were right, Paul.
Just took a dive on it, and Whit unable to react in time.
You were absolutely correct.
As usual.
11 serving 13. That's a pretty good one. Deep Dodd. Dodd cuts it in there. Nice shot. When you're working in the off months, do you miss the beach?
Yes.
Of course you do.
Of course.
Don't you?
Of course. Take my new dog for a walk on the beach every day. Of course, we've had such a horrible winter in Southern California. I've been got my galoshes and my rain gear.
That new dog likes you a lot, doesn't he?
Sure.
Okay. It's a lead of
Especially
2.
At dinner time.
As Johnson punches it off. If you just joined us, these two teams trying to get to Karch-Kiraly and Kent Steffes. We should tell you that Kiraly and Steffes look awfully good in the opening rounds. They crunched everybody getting here.
Yeah, I don't think anybody scored in double figures
Not
against
yet.
Kiraly and Steffes looking back through the bracket. They won in the semis against Angino and Loyola 15-2. Of course, beat Dodd and Whitmarsh in the finals of the winners. And have just been nails all the way through. A 15-7 first round win, then 15-5, 15-2. They have been, as usual, very good indeed.
Dodd will serve it. Minute 48 to go in the game. 13-11. Stoklos and Johnson not out of it yet. Got to keep siding out and get that 13-12 change. Have you decided on the good side yet?
I think it's the side that Stoklos and Johnson occupy now. You know, the wind is changing a little bit, but I think that's a little bit of the better side.
The flags are kind of going towards Tallahassee, right? Going across
the southeastern suburbs of Tallahassee, of course. You know, Dodd and Whit, you know, if I'm them, I just say, look, we got to protect. It's like, you know, in the late innings of a baseball game, you protect the first and third baselines. You know, you don't want any extra.
Whatever.
Well, it's hard to remember about talking about baseball. It's been so long.
There's the wind. Kind of gusting, circular.
Dodd and Whitmarsh just don't want to give up the quick ones.
AJ down the line. Nice shot. I tell you, his line shot looks very much like St. John Smith's old line shot. He's got the high loopy right into the corner.
Which means within a foot of the sidelines, a couple of feet of the back line, and rarely, if ever, miss it down the line. Smith was probably the best at that. Using the entire court, very important, of course.
You're wondering about St. John Smith. He did play in this tournament this week. He finished poorly playing with Tony Zapata, but they have worked out some disagreements, and he and Brooke Vandeweghe are both back playing on the AVP tour. As Whitmarsh thumps it through, score remains 13-11. Whitmarsh and Dodd up by 2.
And of course, everybody who's interested in volleyball wants to know about the AVP and the international scene and the Olympics and everything else. The good news is the AVP players are playing in the Olympics, no doubt about that. With respect to everything else, it may take us all season long to get to the bottom of it. It's still very complicated, and people taking different positions, and it just seems to change by the day. But as of now, you know, the likes of a Karch-Kiraly, Kent Steffes, Randy Stoklos, the teams you see out here will be able to play in Atlanta. And up until, a couple of months ago, that was certainly in doubt.
Time running down a bit on Stoklos and Johnson. Under a minute 20. They trail by 2. Dodd. And Dodd puts it away. Mike Dodd. If he is to become the oldest player to ever win a tournament, he must do it at 38 years and 4 months. That's the record that Ron Von Hagen holds. Von Hagen, the oldest player to ever win a tournament. He did it back in 1977, his final victory, number 62. 38 years and 4 months. Dodd right now, 37 years old.
38
his
in August,
birthday,
right?
38 in August. So he'll have to go another year.
Well, he'll have to wait till next season.
Right. Next season he could do it theoretically, and that would be a great record. Of course, players playing a little longer.
Why not?
Yeah. And
I mean, with the
Johnson
money
is
the
wide.
way it is, until they kick you off the beach,
Yes.
you keep coming back for more.
13-11. Dodd and Whitmarsh holding a 2-point lead. There is Mike Dodd. Kept himself in great shape Gave up drinking coffee and caffeine Coca-Cola back in 1990. Said it really helped him out a lot.
Really?
Yeah. Used to drink 15 cups of coffee.
A day?
Yeah. Wow. And Johnson dribbles it out of bounds.
Well, just when we were comparing his line shot to maybe the best of all time, St. John Smith makes an unforced error down the sideline.
So when we come back, Dodd and Whitmarsh will have game point after this. Singer Island, first-time site, great crowd on hand. The first of 3 straight Florida events this week in Singer Island. Next week we'll be down in the Fort Myers area, and then it's on to Pensacola in 3 weeks. 1:04 to play. Dodd and Whitmarsh are ahead 14-11. I'm Chris Marlowe. My partner, of course, is Paul Sunderland. And Dodd and Whitmarsh have just been a little bit better, Paul.
Have not made as many unforced errors. Remember a couple of throws by Randy Stoklos. A lot of credit to Mike Dodd, Mike Whitmarsh for working so hard. But AJ, time for him to step up. Randy Stoklos has certainly done his part. He's got 4 of his team's 5 aces. AJ, most people think, has the best jump serve on the beach. And if they're going to make a move down 3 with only just over a minute to go, he needs a couple and needs them right away.
Got to put the ball away first, get that serve. Johnson whacks it. That's it. It's out of bounds.
Never got a chance to get to the service line. Dodd and Whitmarsh move on.
So Johnson and Stoklos will finish in 3rd place.
And the finalists doing
Mike Dodd, Mike Whitmarsh. Whitmarsh and Dodd win over Johnson and Stoklos 15-11. We'll have more coverage of AVP volleyball after this.